Hello, thank you for listening. This is the near-death experience of Kit, and Kit's experience occurred on April 22nd of 2010 and was documented on April 20th of 2018. Open quote. After feeling a really sharp pain in my head, I suddenly found that I was unable to control my arms and legs with my thoughts. The sounds and sights started getting fuzzy, and I was unable to speak. The pain got more intense. I felt myself crumbling to the ground while everything faded to black and went silent. I knew I was dying, and my last thoughts were of my loved ones. The black was as a camera shutter closing. I felt as though I was being transported, but I couldn't see or hear anything. The shutter of the imaginary camera lens opened again. Now everything was different. I was different and felt wonderful. I didn't have any pain anymore. I was no longer worried about my loved ones as I felt as though I was still with them. But I was also with a lot, all caps, of people. I was with everyone and everything. I looked around and saw that I was in a park with such beauty I had never seen before. The grass was manicured to perfection. There was a large tree, maybe an oak tree, with a perfect shape. The sky was beautiful blue, but it was somehow alive. Everything was perfect, without any decay or imperfection. I was standing on a pathway that curved in front of me. It was so brilliant white, yet didn't hurt my eyes. I knew this must be heaven, and I was feeling God's love and acceptance. Then my father appeared in front of me. He had passed about 10 years before. Here he looked so perfect, healthy, and happy. I was so glad to see him and wanted to jump into his arms. I knew that if I went around the corner on that pathway, I could stay with my daddy forever. But my dad stopped me and said, without physically speaking a word, "You need to go back. It's not your time yet." For a very brief moment, I started to protest in my mind, but I stopped myself. If my dad was telling me this, it must be the truth, and what's best and necessary for me. My dad would never lead me astray. I was sad, but I obeyed him. I understood that I had to leave this wonderful place. Before I left, I saw lines of people. They were gay and straight, different colors, different religions. Some were handicapped, some were very young, some were old. These people were all holding hands, showing love and forgiveness towards one another. Everything went back to black. I felt a terrible, heavy feeling and tremendous pain again. I knew I was back in my body, but I was not the same person I had been. I had changed. Since I have recovered from the surgery and the coma, I have had some experiences with communication from the other side. Now that I know that the spirits are there, I have had communication with my father. I have seen some spirits come through who want to communicate to others through me. Most of the time, they just want to comfort the ones who has lost a loved one. They want to let them know they are in a great place. End quote. Thank you, Kit. That was a great story. I'm glad you got to see your dad. So there are some questions here. Let's see what we got, because I think Kit's got a lot more to tell us. So let's start with the top. At the time of your experience, was there an associated life-threatening event? Answer, yes. Sudden brain hemorrhage without warning. I had a massive brain hemorrhage with 5 aneurysms. I flatlined in the ambulance on the way to the hospital and was given CPR. Emergency brain surgery meant removing part of my brain with little hope for survival or recovery. I'm doing well now and happy to share the great news about heaven. Question, did you feel separated from your body? Answer, yes. My body was hurting and not functioning. When I went to this place, I left my body behind. I felt so free, all caps, to be without it. It was such a burden to go back into it. Question: at what time during your experience were you at your highest level of consciousness or alertness? Answer: I believe it happened when I was receiving CPR in the ambulance. So I was unconscious. I was in a coma for quite a while, so it could have happened during surgery or another time I was in the coma. Question: did time seem to speed up or slow down? Answer: I felt as though I could be anywhere and everywhere at any time for as long as I wanted. Question: comparing your hearing. Yes, I heard beautiful music. I heard birds at first, and then what sounded like a chorus. It was definitely music. Question: did you see an unearthly light? Answer: yes, the pathway was a brilliant white, which was like a light. It seemed to call me to walk down the path. I just knew that if I went down the path, it would get even better and I wouldn't be able to go back into my body. It was like a transition place. Question: what emotions did you feel during the experience? Answer: again, it is so beyond words. I'd sure like to feel it again. Euphoric is the best description I can think of. I felt loved, forgiven, and part of everything. Question: did scenes from your past come back to you? Answer: my past flashed before me. When I saw the group of people, it was in a rock/cave-like area, very different than the park I started in. I transitioned there in an instant. Question: what was your religion prior to your experience? Answer: conservative, fundamentalist. I was a bit judgmental and believed gay people were sinners. I was taught that certain religions were right and some were wrong. Question: did you have a change in your values and beliefs because of your experience? Answer: yes. My religious beliefs changed, and I am much less judgmental. I have become a spiritualist, capital S. Question: what life changes occurred in your life after your experience? Answer: I am more open, more forgiving, and far more accepting. I also believe in things that I never believed in before, like communicating with those who have passed. Question: was the experience difficult to express in words? Answer: yes. How do you describe the indescribable? The beauty, the love, the euphoric feeling, the ability to communicate and be a part of everything all at once. It is beyond words. Question: do you have any psychic, non-ordinary, or other special gifts after your experience that you did not have before the experience? Answer: yes. I have had experiences with automatic writing, communication with spirits, and the ability to see illness in people since my experience. It is off and on ability. I wish I could learn more about how to use these gifts, but I don't know where to turn for more information. Question: are there one or several parts of your experience that are especially meaningful or significant to you? Answer: the best part was seeing my dad and knowing how happy he is. He looked so good after such a horrible and painful illness. And now I know he will be waiting for me when I die, and that is with me every day while I live. The worst part was coming back. I really wanted to stay. Question: have you ever shared this experience with others? Answer: yes. Some believe it, and others are closed-minded. I was on a show called I Survived Beyond and Back years ago. I held a few seminars or talks about the subject. I would love to help others understand that there is nothing to fear about death, and that if you have lost someone, you should know they are in a wonderful place. Question: is there anything else that you would like to add about your experience? Answer: just that it's great that you're having people write down their experiences, and perhaps you can compare them and see the patterns and commonalities. That should help to create some kind of study that may be more believable for someone who hasn't had the experience. End quote. End questions. Kit, amazing. Thank you. And thank you out there for listening. I hope everybody has a great day.